What's up, everybody? Welcome to my podcast, episode 1 of The Real Dill. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Dylan Collins, and I'm going to be your host for this podcast. You know, it's just time that I started a podcast by myself, and I told you guys who I am, who Dylan Collins is from Chico, California. There's a lot of Dylan Collinses out there. There's a lot. I've looked some of them up. There's one Dylan Collins he has like 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm like, dude, that guy's way more famous than I'll ever be. But that's not true. If there's one thing that I can do in my life, it's be the best Dylan Collins out there. Like, if you search Dylan Collins, my shit comes up first. There's a lot of ways we could do that. I could have been a school shooter. That would have propelled me to #1 Dylan Collins zone forever. I would have accomplished that goal, but I wouldn't have been able to live my life and enjoy myself like I should be able to. I'd be in jail, probably getting murdered, or maybe in like solitary confinement, but either way, that's not what you want. I thought baseball would work out until I was like 12 and started smoking weed and fucked that up, just kind of fucked it off. And you know, you don't make the high school team. That really hurt me. That's something that still affects me to this day. You know, I remember seeing like the other kids that would wear their jerseys and shit to school. They wouldn't even fucking look at me. They were like, ugh. Fucking peasant. So I lowered in the ranks of Dylan Collinses at that point in high school. I did not have the best high school that any Dylan Collins has ever had in their life. I can assure you of that. But we made it through that. High school wasn't the worst thing for me. Made friends. A lot of people don't do that. There's a lot of people that don't make friends. And that's too bad, you know? You gotta feel bad for those people. You don't hang out with them. They're fucking losers. But you feel bad for them. You know, sometimes in life, it's okay to look at somebody else and be like, their life is fucking trash. At least I'm not them. That's what you can say. At least I'm not them. Like, when this election comes up, if you don't get the candidate that you want and they don't win, let's say Joe Biden loses this election. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know at all. I haven't looked at any statistics. I haven't looked at any news. I have no fucking idea. All I know is the news said that Hillary Clinton was going to win by like an unsurmountable amount. It was like Vegas odds. You could have bet $1 on Trump and probably won 100. So that happened then. And here we are, fast forward to today. I don't know. It's probably closer. Maybe they're like, Biden's going to fucking win. I know they're not saying Trump's going to win. You would be hard-pressed to find a poll where Trump was projected to win in either election he's been in. But here we are. And I got my ballot right here for those of you on video who's watching on YouTube. And I'm going to send it in. I posted on Facebook trying to be silly. I was like, I'm an undecided voter. Like, undecided if I'm even going to send in the ballot. I'm going to send in the ballot. People are ridiculous. It's like they don't even know me. That's what's ridiculous, is people that don't even fucking know you. They are the ones that are going to criticize you the most. Are you fucking kidding me? You've never met me. And you're going to come at me sideways? Like, over some shit you throw out on the internet? Like, they're going to burn a bridge. Like, not necessarily that I'm a bridge. I mean, I am Dylan Collins. I wonder what rank. Probably in the top 100. Gotta be in the top 100 Dylan Collins is so far. But they're gonna fucking be like, yeah, Dylan Collins is a piece of shit. I have way too many fucking haters for the level Dylan Collins that I am. I probably have more haters than any other Dylan Collins in the world. That could be true. I could be a world record holder in that sense, unverified. But why? Like, how much energy am I worth? Who the fuck am I? I'm just a guy that started doing open mics one day and then decided to start throwing his own shows. And now fucking here I am. I'm an open micer still. I am so far away from any measurable level of success in comedy. And people are going to be like, you know what? That's the guy I'm going to devote my life to fucking ruining. I'm going to start rumors about this guy. Tell him he's not a comedian, he sucked. Like, what is it about me that makes people fucking hate me so much? Is it like fun do? If it's fun do, then I mean, have at it. Have your fun, but let me have my fun too. Don't like tell everybody else not to like me just because you think it's hilarious to fucking bag on me. I don't know. Anyway, I digress on that. I'm sending the ballot in. I'm gonna make a little election day prediction. Plan on releasing this maybe before, maybe after the election. We'll see how the cookie crumbles on that one. As one of the best journalists of all time would say, Bruce Almighty. This ballot is going to get sent in. I voted for some Democrats, and I voted for some Republicans. And that's just how it is. There's one thing on here that I will say. I'm not 100% convinced that they even count these things. How do we know? The same way, like, how do we know we're not living in a simulation? It certainly feels that way. I'm not saying we are in a simulation, but if we were, this is exactly what it would be like. How do we know they don't just throw these things in the ocean? They certainly seem to throw everything else in the ocean. This ballot, let's make a prediction. Let's get to it. The people want to know. Who are you voting for, Dylan? And we'll get there. We will get there. But what I do want to do on this podcast is I want to let you know who I am. I said that already, but I want to say it again because that's really the point of this. And I want to like unpack how I feel to the world. And stand-up comedy is a great way to do that, but it's also really easy in stand-up comedy to just fall into what I would call just wasting your fucking time. Most people that do comedy are wasting their time, whether they want to admit it to themselves or not. If you go to an open mic and you're worried about your set because you haven't written anything down and you're going to go wing it, you're fucking wasting your time. And I do it, dude. I do it all the time, okay? I don't write enough. It's something we try to get better at. You want, like, because that's the only way to be good at anything in life is to just try to get better. And with stand-up, you have to write a lot. And I think that most of the people that I surround myself with and that are in my immediate area don't really have the drive. And that's not knocking any of them. They're my friends. But you got to prove that you want to be a successful comedian. I'm trying to prove it to myself. That's the only reason that I do any of this. And I'm glad shit got shut down in a certain way because I let the power of booking stuff and I let that become the important part of stand-up. And that doesn't really matter at all. If you aren't writing and trying to get better and have good sets, if you're just going up there and hosting a show, you're the worst part of the show. People that host their own shit all the time, or sometimes you see it with people that host an open mic all the time, winging it, dude. They're just phoning it in. That's the way it is. If you really want to get good at stand-up, it's all about every set having a great set and recognizing what made this audience laugh and how can I do that again to another audience or take that experience and make it like help me develop. You want to take every experience and move forward, not just like fucking be drunk and worried about how you're gonna get home. And I think that happens a lot, man. You see a lot of comics that are just like not really giving it their all. And in a way, like I said earlier, sometimes you're like, at least I'm not that fucking guy. So that's what I will say about that. Plowing ahead here, I don't think drinking and being successful really goes hand in hand with each other. It may be some people are beasts, okay? I see you out there and you're just drinking from like when you wake up to kill the hangover from last night and you're fucking throwing shit in your nose and you're just going ham and wild. And that's cool, I guess. It looks like fun like one night, but I can't keep up with that. Dude, when I do my open mic, I am so hungover in the morning. I drank way too much. Like last time I wasn't as hungover as I've ever been, but I was pretty hungover. And then I don't know where my shit is. I left my camera at the bar. Do you know how dumb that is to leave your camera at the bar? I've had shit stolen from me at the lab before. All right. So like at other bars too. You know what? Like the luckiest I've ever gotten with this camera just fucking follows me everywhere. Like one time I did the show at the Maltese. I was fucking hammered. I think it was the roast battle show I did there, and I was just fucking belligerently hammered, and I leave my shit at the bar, and like they returned it to me so graciously. That doesn't happen in the real world. You don't fucking leave your expensive shit for somebody to steal, and somebody doesn't just steal it, or just, it's not even stealing at that point. You basically fucking gave it to them. So gotta take care of ourselves, you know. Can't be that drunk guy. When you stop drinking a little bit, it feels good for like a little bit. You feel better than everybody. I imagine that's what it feels like when you get years into it and they start giving you AA tokens and they're like, oh, you know, you're never fucking better. No, you're better. It just takes like a couple weeks, and just stop drinking for a little bit and you'll be fine. If you can just not fall into that trap of drinking every night, you'll be fine. But some people can't do it. And who knows? Maybe I'm one of those people. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just here to review beers. Maybe that's my calling in life. I'm a beer reviewer. That's what's funny about the beer reviews. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on my Instagram page and this YouTube page and wherever else I may end up posting them, TikTok, and it's fun. I mean, it's kind of a ripoff of Barstool Sports. Dave Portnoy reviews pizzas, I review beers, and I call it one sip, take one sip. I'm basically a ripoff of him, and that's fine, because the reason that I'm doing that is to train myself to get into a habit of like, oh, I want to create content and then deliver it. And it's a great medium to be able to just make a video. Like, I don't have to sit there and think about topics. Like, what am I going to talk about? How long am I going to make this video? Am I going to edit it? I just do the beer review and I throw it up, take one sip. And it's a great excuse to drink at home, really. It's a great excuse to just pack out the refrigerator with, like, just buy a variety pack and just throw it right in there. No regard for, like, who might open the fridge. My grandpa goes to go get another gallon of milk from the garage. And then he fucking has to scoot his way through, like, 3 different types of IPAs just to get the 1%. It's fine. And when I'm drinking them, I just say I'm reviewing them. So what are you gonna do? But we're drinking Bud Light Platinum right now, which is really like the Donald Trump of fucking beers. Bud Light Platinum, the best of the shitty, you know? Make Bud Light Platinum again is all I'm trying to say. So I think I should run for city council someday. I think that's something that I should do. I don't want to actually like win or take it seriously. I just want to do the campaign. That's what Donald Trump wanted. He just wanted to do the campaign. He was like, I'm going to do this campaign. I'm going to have rallies, shows, stand up. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I can't run for like 4 more years, until I get off of probation. When I get off of probation, that's when I'm running. Dylan Collins, 2030, set the date. I think we should do it. An unofficial campaign announcement may or may not happen. It would be hilarious. And people are ruthless too. Running for office is kind of like how Ancestry.com uncovers all this shit about you that you never knew. If you just run for office, this army of internet trolls will mine your shit and they will find whatever they can against you. You did blackface when you were 2 years old? You're canceled. It was just mud on your face. You should have known better. You're fucking racist. And that's really the problem that a lot of America is dealing with, because most of us have done some heinous shit on the internet. That's why it surprises me, the stuff that offends people. I'm like, that's offensive? You should see what I've done in the past on the internet. And I'm only saying that because I'm honest. And I speak for a lot of people, in my opinion, that aren't going to admit to this. I had a bunch of Xbox friends. Guys that are listening right now know what I'm talking about. You had Xbox friends that one of them would get killed in Call of Duty and he would yell the N-word. He would scream the N-word and he would say F the N-words. That was just what he did. That was his thing. That's what he did when he raged. He'd be like, that guy got killed again. But whatever. I had an Xbox gamer tag called Santa's Hose. It was spelled Santa's Shoes or Santa's Hose. Whatever you wanted to see. However you wanted to read it. And somebody reported that, or maybe they just found it and they were like, this is way too offensive for our platform. So you need to change your name. You get one chance. We'll let you change your name. And I went ahead and I changed my name to, this is 2012. This is like right when Obama got reelected. Or maybe it was 13, 14. I don't know, whatever. Here's what I went with. Obama, number 8, duh. Chicken. That was Dylan Collins circa 2013. Obama ate the chicken. And is that racist? It's not racist. It's kind of the opposite of not racist. But it's not maliciously racist. Like, no black people were hurt in the making of that username. It was fun. Did I play video games with black people? A couple. But like I said earlier, they were used to that guy in the chat screaming the N-word, and nobody gave a fuck. That's the world that I grew up in as a Caucasian person in the United States of America. Maybe these Gen Zers or Xers, they cleaned it up in the 4th grade, but that's when it starts, man. People, they find words and they start spreading them to their classmates, and you start saying it to be the most offensive that you possibly can be. That's the only reason they're doing it. Nobody says the N-word and they're like thinking about like Django Unchained shit. They're just saying it to coax a reaction, because that's the word that coaxed the reaction. A lot of kids don't learn the word cunt until much much later in life. And the word cunt is great because it's as offensive as any word besides for the N-word. But the word cunt it's a great word, and it's casual. You'd be like, what's up, you fucking cunt, like the Aussies do. But that's what kids do. They try to get themselves in trouble. They draw dicks. You saw the movie Superbad where the kid drew, like, he had a notebooks full of dicks? Well, that wasn't me. But I drew my fair share. I mean, if I had collected every dick that I've ever drawn, I probably would have had a fairly large collection. But usually, I wasn't drawing it for me. What you'd do is you'd wait for a classmate to walk away, and then you take their notebook and you go like 1 or 2 pages, you flip it away from their notes, and you draw a big old cock. And depending on how long you have is what determines how detailed that cock is. And then you'd hope that they went there by the time that the class was over so you could hear the reaction. But if they didn't and you didn't suspect that they'd seen it at all, that's kind of fun too. Because like maybe they let somebody borrow a piece of paper and they tear it off on it and they don't even look at the backside and they just hand it off to that person. That's a situation that we can, you live your life the way you think it's supposed to be lived. Control your own simulation, okay? That's all I'm saying about that. Anyway, this ballot right here, I went ahead and voted for Joe Biden. It's not one of my proudest moments. That's what I'll say. It's not because Joe Biden, like, at this point, like, what do I care about in this election? Like, what difference does it make who's president? I don't think it makes any difference at all, to be honest with you. If you watch the news and you want to get upset, sure, you can get more upset, but things that actually directly affect our lives are very close to none. What, you think that Hillary Clinton would have just shut COVID down? I think that COVID was going to happen. You got to stop the virus before it leaves the country that it started in. We're not going to stop the virus like, oh, it was already in the United States. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know. I will kind of sit here and pretend to know, but only a little bit. Predictions on the election. My prediction is that Trump's going to end up fucking winning. I think that Joe Biden will win, like, initially with the early mail-in voting, but then I think Trump is going to kind of catch up, and I think it's going to be real fucking close. You know, that's the simulation. That's how the simulation works, dude. It's gonna fuck with our heads in one way or another. It's gonna be a mess, and I think that they're gonna do a fucking recall at some point. They're gonna have to recall it and recount the votes. And I think that Trump's gonna end up fucking winning, dude. And I don't think that he's gonna step down. I think that we can expect 4 more years of Trump. And you know what? Maybe I'll consider voting for Trump when he runs for his 3rd term, because that's probably gonna happen too. And at this point, I don't care. I really don't. I cared a lot in 2016. I cared so much. I voted for Hillary, and I was a big fucking Hillary supporter. Believe it or not, I was a big Hillary supporter, and people that know me from the past can absolutely vouch for that, and I would really appreciate if you did in the comments, because I feel like that's something that not a lot of people believe. They're like, they just paint you as a picture. They paint you as the image they want to see, and they want to hate me right now. Some do. They want to be like, he's a fucking Republican piece of shit. He's a fucking make America great againer. Or like, he's a Trumpster. A Trumpster? Really? Is that the worst insult you've got? Trumpster? That is fucking so sad. And it's just assuming you don't know who somebody's voting for. You don't, dude. You really don't. I experienced that in 2016 when I found out people voting for Trump. People that were good friends of mine, still are good friends of mine. Some of them are not, but some of them are. And I was just shocked. I was like, how could you vote for Trump? That is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Like, have you heard what he says? He said grab him by the pussy. You know what? That doesn't bother me now. Okay? That bothered me then because I was willing to accept any negative press about him and just run with it. I was like, yeah, that's what got my dick hard then, dude. It was just hearing shit about Trump that was bad, and I was like, see, he did this and he did that, and the people that liked him were like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. And I couldn't understand. How could you not give a fuck? This is so important. It turns out it wasn't, dude. It wasn't that important. It was to me then, but it's not now. grab him by the pussy. If that really fucking bothered you, you have no idea how actual interactions with people are. Like men, you have no fucking idea how guys talk to each other. Guys will say absolutely anything. As a comedian, I will say absolutely anything to try to get a laugh. And when you're trying to tell a good story, you're gonna exaggerate a little bit. And he probably was exaggerating a little bit. He's like, yeah, you just walk up and grab him by the pussy. Basically, it's a metaphor. He was saying, I just grab him by the pussy. And he did. Probably at all ages. He had fucking teen Miss USA pageants. Yeah. Oh, he was a pedophile. You know who else was a pedophile? Kevin Spacey. And you know what? I wish that they finished House of Cards. So I would have kept watching. I stopped watching House of Cards after the fucking it came out that he was having sex with underage boys, because they canceled the show. I couldn't see the ending. That's all I gave a fuck about. I didn't give a fuck about what he does. He's an actor. If that's who Hollywood wants to throw out in front of us, that's on Hollywood. That is not on fucking me as a person to be like, I will not support the art that Kevin Spacey has given us. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I digress on that. But yeah, grab him by the pussy was not that big of a deal. It wasn't. Grab him by the pussy was not that big of a deal. Okay. Most guys have said way worse shit than that, all right? And that's just the way it is. So, and to take it out of context and to fire Billy Bush. How can they fire Billy Bush for doing a great fucking job? That's a great job. He got the guy he was going to interview to say some heinous shit on a hot mic. Who was he working for? Like fucking Fox 20 or some shit? He wasn't a successful journalist. This was like a fucking big deal for him. And maybe that's on him at the end of the day. Maybe, you got to create your own avenues and not just get canceled like a pussy. He should have came out with a podcast called fucking Grab You by the Podcast or something. But whatever. Maybe a good podcast name for mine. Anyhow. I'm going to send in that ballot. We're going to vote one way or another. Stand-up comedy is going to keep going. It's going to get real cold at the lab soon, so we're going to try to get the heating situation on point, and we'll maybe even move it inside. Who knows? Maybe we'll just risk it, dude. We've been risking COVID this whole time, so I guess we might as well just keep risking it. Talk about the third wave. Well, I mean, like, we had not even 3 people I know have gotten COVID, so I don't know how it's really a third wave. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody that's fucking died of COVID, but I don't really care that much. I just, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I didn't create this virus. I don't have any control over it. This is how I feel. It's how I feel. And I love everybody, and I have never tried to maliciously just come after somebody for no reason. I'm just like, I don't like the way they look. The only reason I don't like somebody is because they come at me sideways and I have to defend myself. Sometimes I go too far. That's just fucking happens. But I never try to make enemies. I want everybody to be my friend. And I think that everybody should be friends, or at the very least be neutral. You don't have to fucking like somebody and invite them to hang out with you. But you don't even have to want them to sit next to you at the fucking table. But like, you shouldn't fucking feel some type of way about another person just because they have a varying opinion, and then start making assumptions about them and their character. Just how I feel. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of The Real Deal, soon to be the #1 podcast in all of Chico, probably in all of Butte County. My name is Dylan Collins, and have a great rest of your day /night/whatever.